Let's talk about extraordinary events. I mean, we know the day-to-day policing is interesting and dangerous, but the extraordinary events like the Boston Marathon bombing or joint task force that you oftentimes would engage in. I know our own local community is involved in a joint SWAT team and the like. So tell me how that works, the cooperation between departments at the municipal level or federal and state agencies as well.
I think it's, there have been two massive initiatives that I think have really rocked this entire profession in the last 25 years. One was the Community Policing Initiative that Kenny brought up earlier. The second is the introduction of regionalization with regards to services, and the fact that you can supply one or two officers to a regionalized force at a minimal cost to the community while also making sure the community has access to a tremendous amount of resources, whether it be a SWAT team, whether it be you know, the mobile operations unit or investigative services unit aspect of it. You know, right now we're in the middle of putting together a regionalized portion of the team that has to do with accident reconstructions and so on and so forth, because with the with more and more protective measures in the vehicles and with, you know, measures that communities are taking now, luckily, knock on wood, the number of motor vehicle fatalities has gone down as well, which has resulted in a diminishing level of the skill of the people that actually get trained. So what this will do is actually keep them up to date as well. So I think it's been one of the most tremendous initiatives of the last 25 years.
I look at 9/11 for me as the watershed moment for police and fire and EMS. After the bombings of 9/11, if you look at some of the after studies, which are difficult for public safety, because oftentimes, particularly when people die, when public safety officials die, there's a tendency sometimes not to look and to drill down too deep and get to the core of what took place, because we don't want to dishonor anybody's memory. I think after 9/11, what we found was, and the term that kept coming back was interoperability, the ability of departments that couldn't even speak to each other. There were departments on 9/11 and the days afterwards that were in line of sight that couldn't communicate with each other because they wouldn't let the other ones on their radio frequency. I think since then, I think my personal opinion is at the federal, state, and local level, there has been a tremendous move forward, a tremendous amount of information sharing, a real partnership. We belong to NEMLEC, which is the Northeast Mass Law Enforcement Council, counterpart to Ron's MetroLEC. It's 56 cities and towns that, to me, it's like an insurance policy. It's a phone call I can make and get a SWAT team, a school safety team, a police team of whatever it is that we're facing in my community. One phone call, I can get those resources. I think prior to 9/11, I think there might have been some hesitancy on the part of some law enforcement agencies.
Now, go ahead, Lisa.
I was just going to say, my department is very small. I come from a very small community. It's about 4,600 population, and I am not a member of that. Actually, due to the cost, it was something I did put in my budget. The chief and I did talk about it earlier, that I removed myself because of my need for manpower, and wanted to use that money for something else. So as anybody sitting before you can tell you, that the first like hour into an incident is the most critical. I have usually one, sometimes two officers on a shift. Okay, we have a regional school in our district, and we recently had an incident where a student brought a gun, albeit it turned out to be a toy gun, but no one knew that at the time. And we called. We have a radio system that we use due to our interoperability, and we were able to get 9 departments plus the New Hampshire State Police, who came in with K9 to assist us on that event. So what these gentlemen are members of is phenomenal. I'm dependent on other agencies and the state police to come and help. But for the department the size of my department, where I have one, usually 2 officers on, it's critical that we reach out to area departments for assistance. So.
This excerpt is brought to you by the Massachusetts School of Law, the leader of reform in legal education and the leader in multimedia education for the public. To view the full interview and for a full listing of MSL's programs, log on to mslaw.edu.